What is going on, everybody? Welcome to today's trade recap. Today is Tuesday, January 13th, CPI Tuesday. Hopefully, you took advantage of that. Awesome opportunity to expedite some eval passing. So we ended up taking a long on the NASDAQ today. Ran up about 3 points away from our TP here. And then off a Trump tweet about Iran, ended up flipping, dumping the entire market. So absolutely brutal break even. But this was a super A plus setup. So if you took it, good on you. And as unfortunate as this is, it does give us an opportunity to talk about something that is very important that I haven't really had the opportunity to talk about yet. And it's the idea that your emotions are always going to be there. As you gain more market experience, things may get to you less. You'll be a little bit more confident in your system, so you might not feel quite as emotional. But you always have some days that just get to you. You are not a robot. You are a human being. Those days are bound to happen. The difference between a profitable professional trader and someone who is not is what they do with those emotions. So I personally stepped away after getting break even like this. This would have been upsetting to see, but it was especially upsetting because I put on some very heavy size on this. So one of the ways I trade my XFAs or qualified accounts is wait for like 2 or 3 A plus setups, and I trade them very aggressively, a lot of size. When I have a draw I'm very confident in, to build that buffer, and then I scale down to get those $150 days to then take those payouts. So in all honesty, I was up more than I'm used to seeing on this. So seeing that big green number flip and go break even, especially being this close to the draw and off of some BS like Trump's tweet, it was very upsetting. So I got off the charts at 9:42. 12 minutes into market open, I'm done for the day. And it actually led me to avoiding a 1 minute long that I probably would have taken. This is a really nice, where is it? Maybe it's on only NQ. But this is a really nice long. Yeah, right here, this 1 minute. I probably would have ended up taking this. We had SMT at lows. We have relative equal highs at those data highs, and we have LR generated here. Ended up saving me a loss on that. And this very well could have been a win. But again, I'm not in the right mind space to go be putting risk on in the markets. So long story short, you are always going to feel emotions, and that is okay. That is part of the game. What you do with those emotions is what differentiates you from a profitable trader and somebody who fails in these markets. So just a little spiel on Psych there. Very important to talk about, I think. That being said, we'll go ahead and get into the fun stuff, the technical analysis here. As always, we will start on the higher time frame, build that bias, work our way down, align our time frames, all that good stuff. You guys know. So let's see what we got here. So coming into the morning, the first thing we're going to see is we have this SMT here with ES. So NQ fails to take that low, and ES goes ahead and takes that low. Now, you might be asking, why is this SMT significant? Well, the reaction we get off of this SMT gives me a lot of confidence to the upside. Look how we react off of this SMT. We get a very strong reaction higher here, closing above these series of down close candles, disrespecting this 4-hour bearish gap, and opening up a new 4-hour bullish gap. So a lot of building your bias comes down to seeing how we react off of bullish and bearish PD rays and highs and lows. If we're getting closures above highs, you're probably going to be leaning a bit more bearish or bullish. But if you're wicking those highs and then trading back into the range, you don't have the confidence to the upside there. That's all stuff we know. Just going over it. Now dropping down onto the hourly time frame here, when we'll go after CPI comes out. What do we notice here? We see Asia session traded down into that 4-hour gap and then got a reaction out of there, and we have confirmation with that CPI news candle closing above this series of down close candles. So we can expect this to act as an order block to hold price or push price up. We also see we end up closing through this hourly bearish gap. So again, confirmation to the upside. We can expect this Asia session to be protected or a sponsored move, at least until this new high is taken, right? It would have been nice if we had an external draw in line with this draw, but doesn't happen. Can't always expect price to be perfect and exactly how you want it to be. So now knowing that bias coming into the morning, what do we see? Well, we see this data candle here with our data high, and we have our data low, obviously, here. And then we also open up a 15-minute bullish gap here. What is this? This is going to be our condition. This is a perfect condition. If price trades into this and wants to hold it and we get confirmation to the upside, we have a perfect draw in line with that. And if we want to close through this, we have our data low. Obviously, it's very close to that, so it's going to be hard to target that. But if we close through this and are getting very aggressive to the downside, maybe we end up flipping our buy. So we say, okay, this up here, this news drop was the manipulation. Now we look for a continuation down to maybe go rebalance this unfilled 15-minute gap here. That's how we build a fluid bias. We're always open to seeing how price plays out and then reacting to it, not being rigid and being like, price has to do this. That leads to emotions. When we have expectations and those expectations are not met, that leads to emotions. If you say have to get a long out of this 15-minute gap and then we don't, you're going to get upset. You might FOMO into a short after that, which you shouldn't be doing, or you might even FOMO into a long, whatever it is, you're feeling emotional. Opposite of what we want to be doing. Now, bringing us up to 9:30 open here, what do we see? We do not go take that data high on either NQ or ES here. And then we end up coming down and trading into that 15-minute bullish gap, that condition, right? So if we want to displace through this, I probably want to look for some shorts. But if we end up holding that, we probably want to look for longs. And we end up putting in a really nice SMT at this low here. NQ comes down and sweeps this low. This is a 5-minute intermediate low, right? The low resting within that 5-minute gap. And ES fails to. So now we have an SMT, which is giving us confirmation of rejection of the gap that we set as our condition to either frame prices higher or lower. What does this tell us? Well, we want to look for our entry model now. We have everything lining up, and look at this. We get a beautiful V-shape inversion right here. 3-minute IFEG right here. Again, off of that SMT, out of our condition, just how we drew it up. And this is exactly what we want to see when we get inversions. Again, inversions are quick order flow shifts. We want to see a nice V-shape like that. When price trades into our area that we want to trade out of, we want to see a nice reaction like this. We don't really want to see us doing this, trading in here, and then we get a weak little inversion like that. Not an A+ scenario, especially with the data low below. Anyway, we get that inversion. We get our entry here, a few ticks below. This is our break-even point here. And then stops just went at the body here. You totally could have gone at the low here. Still had a 1-to-1. That's not bad there. But with this momentum right here and this break-even being really close, in my opinion, you really don't need a stop loss all the way extended here. Again, quick order flow shift. We want to see this flush through and go to our break-even before we really have to worry about price chopping around at all. So that's why I went right at the body of the 3 and the 5-minute there. Don't need much more than that. So then we see price gives us a little bit of drawdown and then immediately rips. This is what we want to see. Again, V-shape inversion. A+ scenario here. We're delivering out of here strong momentum. Nice, strong delivery. Exactly how you draw it up. Right here, feeling great, you know, seeing, again, like I said, seeing a lot of green on this. I was feeling ecstatic at this point. And in hindsight, at that point when I'm risk on this much, probably could have closed out some of the position there. But I was just super confident in this data high here. And in all reality, that could just be a little bit of cope. I'm kind of just speaking out loud at this point. I would be mad at myself taking or not following my rules, right? The whole point I want to take this trade is to this data high. So there's kind of no reason to close out before, especially with this momentum. And then the next thing you know, Trump tweets and just dumps this shit. So absolutely brutal on that. Not much to say on that. A+ setup. Great job if you took this. And then again, just want to reiterate, you're always going to feel those emotions. Like I said, I was very, very upset at this point. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't go FOMO into a short now, or I didn't try to force along because I really wanted this high. I felt those things. I said, yes, I really want this high, but I'm not going to allow my emotions to then control my actions. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like if you find this helpful. Always subscribe. And I will catch you guys in the next one. And always, if you do have questions, let me know in the comments. I will be more than happy to help. Peace, guys.